Sorry, still getting set up, and hopefully no one saw that spoiler. Never going to be able to reach any of these. So I'm trying something out. Oh, you can hear me. I'm trying something out. I have my phone face the correct way for 4K, and also so that the picture isn't mirrored, because that annoys the crap out of me. But that also means that I can't see my phone screen to control anything. So I'm using my iPad, which I've been doing for live streams just so I can monitor the chat. But that's the only way that I can see what I'm doing here. Everything is behind the camera at the moment, and my whiteboard is between the camera and the toys, so I can't reach them. I'm gonna bring everything around front. Oh, hit the camera, sorry. Also, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm so fat and out of breath. And of course, there's a delay. So, like, I can't really check the iPad for live. It's I do something and then I got to check the iPad, and like 12 seconds later, oh, there it is. Ah. Can you see anything? Okay, you can't. You can see the edge of the table, but I mean, at least this is it's kind of a camera angle then, using the selfie camera, because you see less of the table, which preserves the surprises. Unless you signed in early and the camera was flipped the other way around and it showed my, I don't want to say cheat sheet, but like, I didn't memorize these pics, and I do want to, use their full names. So, all right, that one's gonna go on the floor. Is it because it's big? Okay. Water. Went to the other room to blow my nose, so you didn't have to suffer with that. Like, I tried to find a mirror to put behind the camera so I could, like, that looked dirty, sorry. This is a family show. The nice thing is, I only have one place to look, and that is the lens. So I can't be looking at myself on the screen because there's no screen to look at. All right. Who's my one watcher right now? Is that Kitty Cat? Oh, it's so hot in here. It's like 9 degrees outside, but I turned my heat off. But I also just took a shower, so I'm okay. Give it a few more, not a few more minutes, but like, like cool my body temperature down to not sit here sweating balls. Has it been running long enough for me to safely say balls without this getting? Hopefully the music's not too loud. I went with my Leslie Knope for President shirt because, well, last 16 months have been kind of crappy, so. I'm sorry. Getting over a cold. It's that where I'm healthy now, but there's still the lingering crap, like the cough. So I need to update this shirt to say 2028. All right. Yellow. TENIME here. Hopefully the music is not too loud. Happy New Year, everyone. Today is January 1st, 2026. Yippee. Hopefully your 2025 treated you better than it treated me. I'm not going to spend this whole thing whining. It was not a great year for me. In terms of toys, while we have a phenomenal selection here, and I don't think it would have changed had I been able to get more, my toy purchases in 2025 was about half of what I normally would with, full-time income. So, again, while I don't think this top 10 would have been any different, because I found ways or had help. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Chuck. I had help getting the things that I really wanted. So, like I said, if I'd been able to get double the amount, I am 99.99999999999% sure that this top 10 would still be identical. But we all have our coping mechanisms, and mine is toys. So I'm gonna move Homer. Sorry, scooch him that way. So having half of the ability to cope through probably the hardest year of my life, and keeping in mind that my father, who I still love and miss dearly every single day, passed in 2021. So the fact that 2025 was the worst year of my life, that's saying something. But January 1st, new year, new beginning, fresh start. Plus we have some awesome toys here to talk about. I'm going to start with a dishonorable mention because this figure is good, but it is not worth the MSRP that I paid. It was severely overpriced, and that was made exponentially worse by the fact that after I paid full MSRP, 2 different websites put it on massive sale. Amazon had it for $20 off, and then Best Buy had it for half price. And if I'd paid the Best Buy half price, this might be in the top 10. But because I had to pay full price, because when you try and wait for something to go down in price, 75 times out of 100, it sells out and then it skyrockets on the aftermarket. So it's a gamble and it's a risk that you take. So if it's something that you I don't want to say really want, but like if it's something that you want and don't want to risk passing on and paying more later, you got to get it as soon as you can. And luckily I was able to overpay for this before things got bad for me financially. It did come out in 2025, so it's just the beginning of the year I was financially okay, and then as the year progressed, things got progressively worse. So I was in a good financial spot to overpay for this, and then as things started to get bad for me financially, and then seeing Amazon drop the price, and then seeing Best Buy have the price, I was like, oh God. So at MSRP, this figure is not worth the MSRP. At that half price, like I said, it probably would replace one of these on here. It is I forgot, I didn't look up how to pronounce this because I've only ever seen it written. But it's the Tamashii Nations Bandai SH Figure Arts Mini. And here's the word that I'm not sure how to say: Dragon Ball Z Daima, Daima, Piccolo. So I don't know if you can see. No, you can't see. My Dragon Ball Z stuff is up there. Actually, you can see. Yeah, you can see Goku and Frieza and a bunch of Saiyans. But on the shelf above that are my Namekians and Krillin, Roshi, Bulma, etc. So what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to have my ideal Piccolo, and then I've been getting other Piccolo figures as other Namekians. Now I do have Nail, but like there's Piccolo, and then there's Nail, and then there's a bunch of other Piccolos as other Namekians. And so, Dende, I got Dende. So I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is like, he's not as young as Dende, but he's an adolescent Namekian, and this is a great figure. This is a really, really good figure. When I got this out of the package, hurting from the price I paid for it, I was like, this figure's really, really good. It's like, it kind of made it hurt worse what I paid, considering how good this is. And like I said, if I'd been able to get it half price, this would be one of the 10. But because I paid full MSRP, which was overpriced, the Figure Arts Mini Daima, Daima, I hope that's, grammatically English-wise, which I'm sure it's a Japanese word, but Daima thinking Japanese pronunciations. But anyways, Piccolo, dishonorable mention. If he had not been so expensive, he would be one of the 10. Sorry. And I know that looks gross when I'm like, like that coughing cat. As I lose my only viewer. So when it comes to 6th scale, my dolls, I got some great ones this year. Wednesday, fantastic. Just opened her up. Batfleck was great. Once this is over, go watch my video on my Hot Toys Batfleck. Kid Pool was great. But none of them really blew me away the way that Spike and Rocket did last year. So no 6th scale figures. For unarticulated, because I do collect stuff that is not articulated, if you saw last year's video. I did get a couple U2s. None of them were as good as Man Bear Pig from last year. So none of those made the list, but I couldn't because last year it was U2's Man Bear Pig and Funko Pop. Sorry, I'm trying to like pick something stuck in my carpet. U2's Man Bear Pig and Funko Pop Alan Adale from Disney's Robin Hood. So I have no U2s to rank this year, but I do have 2 Funko Pops because these 2 were just so awesome that I'm like, I can't pick between the 2. So because I don't have a U2s to place, I'm 2 Funko Pops. So the first one, since I was a child, and I've mentioned this in other Masters of the Universe videos, spoiler, since I was a child, I have been like the biggest Battle Cat fan, and that hasn't changed. I mean, if anything, it's probably gotten worse as I've gotten older. Just the amount of green tigers with orange stripes that I have, whether it's official Battle Cat or another company homaging by just painting a tiger green with orange stripes. It definitely has not gotten better, but over the past couple years, there's another character that I've really, really grown to like. So I would say that my top 2 favorite Motu characters are Battle Cat and this character. And it's not Stinkor, surprisingly. I thought it would be Stinkor, and I still want a vintage one to remember that patchouli smell. But this is the Funko Pop Masters of the Universe meme Skeletor. When I saw that they were making this, I'm like, okay, I have to have it. You've all seen the meme where he's like lounging on the log and there's some funny caption. And then I believe it's the same meme where he says something laying down and then the next frame or panel is him running away, until we meet again. Like I could be mixing 2 memes, but I'm pretty sure that's the meme. But this just I'm trying to make sure that it's on camera. There we go. Okay, good. So this part of the table is on camera. It's so funny, and like I said, I've become a really big Skeletor fan in the past year or 2. So Funko Pop meme Skeletor is one of my unarticulated honorable mentions, and the other one, if you are a Generation Y, so not a millennial, because for the first 20 to 30 years of our lives, if you were born in the early 80s, we were called Generation Y. I don't know why. Millennial came out of nowhere and replaced it. But the confusion with that fits with, because not only were we Generation Y, like the letter after X, but it was also kind of like a play on words of WHY ? Like we're Generation Y. So why are we called millennials now? So I consider people born in the 80s to be Generation Y, and then people born in the 90s to be millennials. Still doesn't make sense to me. You know, I would assume that someone being called a millennial is born in the new millennium. So people born in the year 2000 or after. But this is not a review. So if you are Generation Y, this movie not only means a lot to you, but likely scarred you as a child. And I've always loved this director, and I've always loved his animation style. And this was always my favorite character from this movie. So when I saw that they were making Pops from this movie, I was like, they better make this character. And when I was like compiling my list, just to prep for today, like, you know, I made a cheat sheet where I could see all the numbers and all the full names and everything. The only merchandise that ever existed for this character since 1982, which was the year I was born, the year the movie came out, was a plush from 1982. No Happy Meal figures, no ceramic statues. Like, it's the 1982 plush and this Funko Pop have been the only merchandise for this character, which kind of sucks because, you know, I'd like more of this character. But it is the Funko Pop Secret of NIMH Jeremy the Crow. Oh, this is like, he's a little dusty, sorry. It's not only awesome to have a plastic Jeremy, but just, I don't think they could have done a better job on this. Like, I called it when pictures went up before pre-orders did. I literally said that's going to make my top 10 figures of the year. So I'm Funko Pop on the top 10. So this is numbered yet. We haven't gone number 10, let alone to number 1. But I called it, and it's here. And not because I felt like I had to hold up my end of the claim, is that just, it's so good. So Funko Pop, Secret of NIMH, Jeremy, rest in peace, Dom DeLuise. All right, now we're getting into it. Number 10. Number 10. So if you saw last year's video, it's kind of most of the same companies. I know that I've reviewed other companies, and you can see that I collect other companies, and I've said that I collect other companies. And so I don't stick to certain lines saying this is going to be in my top 10. It's if the figure blows me away. And initially, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry, there's dust everywhere, and I'm ADHD, so I didn't get a lot of sleep last night or this morning. And I don't party, so like I wasn't up partying or celebrating anything. I was just, you know, trying to get ready for this, honestly. So this is a repeat company from last year. This is a repeat line from last year, but it has fallen quite a bit. Sorry, got a cough again. I can't turn my head because I pulled a muscle coughing. Because remember, I'm fragile. So I can't turn my head while I cough. So I have to like cough straight on, or I'm going to hurt my neck worse. I was going to cough in my hand, and I'm not worried about germs. But I thought people would be gross. He coughs into his hand. So, you know, I'm getting distracted by myself on the screen next to me. Anyway, number 10. is Jada Toys. And honestly, it was going to be a new line not a new line from Jada, actually an older line from Jada, but new to my countdown, as if this is not only my second time doing this. The problem is, as good as the package of the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes Tony the Tiger figure is, Tony's ankles and the base of his tail they're not super loose, but they aren't as tight as weight-bearing joints should be. So he has a problem standing up, and that honestly hurt him. So if Tony the Tiger could stand better, if my Tony the Tiger could stand better, I've heard of other people not having issues, but if my Tony the Tiger could stand better, he would be number 10. So I wasn't looking for another Jada figure to replace him. It's just, it was between Tony and this figure. And, I don't like repeating companies. So rather than have Tony be number 10 and this other figure be number 9, because Tony suffered from the looseness, he got disqualified, and then this figure took the 10th spot. So this is the Jada Toys Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers. Who is it? Which one is it? It's Blanca. Blanca is definitely one of my favorite characters. And again, I wasn't looking for a Street Fighter figure to take the spot. I thought of doing something funny and not actually taking a spot, but because the blue Guile came out in 2025, and Guile was what was he, number 4, I think, 2024. I was gonna be like number 11 is the Player 2 repaint of Guile. So, but I thought that some people might not take it as a joke and actually be like, "What's stupid? The repaint of a figure you picked last year." So I went with a new character. And who came out this year? Player 2 Guile, Player 2 Dalsim and Bison and Cammy, Vega, Sagat. Sagat is really good. It was kind of between Sagat and Blanca is just so much, I don't want to say so much better because that makes Sagat sound bad. Sagat's a great figure. Vega underwhelmed me. Vega looked amazing in everyone's pictures who had gotten him early, and mine sat in my pile of loot, not sponsored, for as long as they allowed it. It was 3.5 months. And it wasn't the fact that I had to wait. In fact, the more I saw of other people posting about Vega, the more excited I was. And mine has some QC issues that just kind of bummed me out. So I was all excited for him, and I wouldn't say that I got overexcited. But yeah, it's just the QC issues. I still think Blanca would have beaten him out, but there's no review of Vega. But he still looks good. But with my QC issues, it's hard to get him to look good because just there's some looseness. The plastic feels weird and cheap. Kind of. I don't consider hollow plastic to be an indicator of cheap, but just some of his plastic feels too brittle and hollow, if that makes any sense. But I mean, the fact that the Figuarts Blanca couldn't get into this good of a pose, just the way that they articulated his hair to get into these kinds of poses. When they first showed the prototypes of him, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get him to, complete the lineup, but I hated the face sculpts. Both of them. I hated them. I was like, oh my God, it looks terrible. It looks absolutely terrible. then when the final, like, you know, here's the version you're buying, when those were revealed, they'd fixed both face sculpts. So I'm like, thank God, they look so much better. And then when I actually got him in hand, they're even better. I hate the green. I hated the green from the get-go. I don't like this pea green. I did not like the green of the figure arts. Honestly, my ideal colors of the orange hair and the green skin and the brown shorts is Storm Collectibles. But their 1/12 figures aren't 1/12 scale. So he'd be like this big. And I do kind of still want that figure to sort of be like, you know, he's kind of like Hulk, where he just, you know, he gets bigger and bigger, especially since he's like electricity based, where it may, you know, maybe he could, instead of outputting it, maybe he could absorb it and build it up, and that makes him bigger. And then when he lets it out, then he shrinks back down. But anyway, I am kind of looking forward to their Storm Arena. They haven't announced them, but, you know, hopefully is Blanca in Alpha 3? I don't know, because they're doing Alpha 3. I do have the Storm Arena Alpha 3 Ken and Ryu, and they're spectacular. The Ryu. Okay, tangent. Wow. Like, I was seriously like, I'm going to have to remove Blanca from this list, and I'm going to have to put Ryu on it, and then he's going to be higher than number 10. So I'm going to have to move someone else down, because the Storm Arena Alpha 3 Ryu is spectacular. It is so good, especially after I repainted his headband red and his eyebrows black. That's not Alpha 3. He's got a white bandana in Alpha 3. Sorry, I prefer the red bandana, and I don't know why he had brown eyebrows, but it didn't look right. So with the black eyebrows with the brown hair, I'm like, this is my Ryu, especially with the red bandana. Sorry, I got a cough again. This is probably the biggest reason why I hate getting sick, because I'm so immunocompromised that what's a 3-day cold for some people, I was sick for a week and a half, and then I'm going to be coughing like this for another month or two. And it hurts. I don't like it. But number 10, Jada Toys, Street Fighter 2 Blanca. So good. Pick that up. It was an itch. It was dry. Number 9. I have to cheat because, and I'm not doing it as like a sly, I'm getting 2 figures in one spot. This is a real conundrum because it's 2 figures, because one of them just hit in December. And it's from the same company, so I'm not breaking any rules there. This is from the same company. It's just one I've had longer and one I haven't even had a month yet. The thing is, the one that hit in December that I haven't even had for a month yet is really, really good. But I don't want to screw the other figure because of recency bias. So I don't want to be like, this is the brand new figure and that's why I love it. And so I'm going to disqualify the other figure from ranking. So even if years down the line, I do prefer this figure, I do prefer the new figure over the older one, I still want the older one in here because I don't want it disqualified because of recency bias. So that's why I'm cheating. Because I didn't want to leave the new one out because it's so good, and my OCD would not allow me to put it in the top 10 of 2026 because it's not a 2026 figure. It hit in 2025. So They are, sorry, I was a little loud, the four horsemen. Of course, if you know anything about four horsemen, you already know what the recency bias figure might be. The so good, but I don't want to disqualify the old one figure is the Four Horsemen Figura Obscura, the Nutcrackers Mouse King. Such a good film. My God, this is such a good figure. It's the first time that the Four Horsemen have ever given us butterfly joints and double jointed elbows, which they're late to the game by about 10, 15, 20 years, but it's just the sculpt and the paint and it's just his alternate heads, and it sucks that the crown is glued on. I did want to do a review of him, and I have the reason I didn't do a review of the Jersey Devil is because I did film a review of Ganesha, who almost made the top 10, but was beaten out by the older figure. I haven't edited it yet. So I filmed the Ganesha review, but it's not on my channel because I haven't edited it yet. And so when I got Jersey Devil, I was like, I haven't edited Ganesha yet. So I just opened Jersey Devil. And then this guy too, I was like, I really want to do a review of this guy, but Ganesha's holding up the line. And Ganesha's not holding up the line because there's reviews that I filmed before that I haven't edited yet or uploaded, excuse me. But this is, I love my Figura Obscura. The only one that I have skipped intentionally was Father Christmas. And that I even went back and got the original Krampus that I had initially missed when the line started. I did a video of that. Go watch that when this is over. So I have yet to, I have not yet missed nor skipped a Figura Obscura except for Father Christmas, because I don't like, go back to other videos. I don't like it. If you want clarification, go to my other Figura Obscura videos, and I'm pretty sure I talk about it in all of them, but holy crap, this is good. Cannot wait for a repaint, because I would have loved to have been able to afford extras for basically every head. Anyway, I was saying that, like, it sucks that the crown is glued onto this head, because I would have used a different facial expression if I could have put the crown on, but I wanted the crown. He's the Mouse King, but I would have loved to be able to afford extras for every head he comes with, to have the king and then like his little army, all with each of the unique extra heads. So they've repainted all of their Figura Obscuras. I don't see why they won't repaint this. So maybe if I start saving now, I can get 6 more. But the figure that I didn't want to replace, because so good, and I filmed this entire wave. It was not only my first Mythic Legions video, I did an entire wave minus like 2 or 3 figures that I just didn't want. And again, haven't edited it yet. I've got 12 videos waiting to be edited and uploaded, and I just have not been in a good mental headspace to do so. But I'm pretty sure I've mentioned in other videos that I really, really wanted to get into the 4 horsemen of Mythic Legions. And luckily, timing was poor, that I missed the first wave because I didn't know it existed. That's war. And then I couldn't afford famine, and I couldn't afford pestilence, but I made sure to find some way to get into death. So from the congregation of Necronominus, and I do know how to pronounce this because I've found out the official pronunciation from one of the Four Horsemen guys. And I did manage to snag, I don't physically have it, it's sitting in my pile of loot, but I did manage to snag the green repaint with scaphoid, I think. But it is from the Congregation of Necronomimus from Four Horsemen's Mythic Legions, the Terpiculi. And as good as the Mouse King is, this guy is just so, like, in the video, I'll upload it someday. There's some videos that I filmed that I'm like, I'm not going to upload this. Just because either I didn't like the quality, or I was like, the time has come and gone for this to be relevant or for anyone to have any interest in it. I will edit and upload at least most of the 12 videos that I have on deck. But like, I compare this guy, and especially in the comparisons of that video, Aracula from Skeleton Warriors. And it's my childhood Aracula. He's the skeleton with the spider arms. And just the fact that you can choose where to put the long arms, where to put the short arms, where to put the wings. And he comes with different heads. This is my favorite head. I'm glad that Scaphoid isn't a green repaint of this. He's a different character, but he does come with a green repaint of this head and the wings. So I'm very excited about that. And just so, like, I chose this configuration of the long arms in front, the short arms in back on the bottom, and then the wings on top. And it's just, yeah, it's he's got a bendy tail. You know, I'm not a big fan of bendy, but I mean, it has helped him stand along with being on all four. Actually, it's not helping him stand. He's on all fours. Sorry. It's great. So the Terpiculi is how it's pronounced. Can't remember if I figured it out before I filmed the review or after. Because I think at one point I was like, is it Terpiculi or Terpiculi or Four Horsemen? That was my cheat, just because the Mouse King is so good. Like, it looked great, and I was excited to get it, but I was like, there's no way this is gonna beat the Terpiculi. So, you know, I'll keep Terpiculi at number 9, and Mouse King will just be a really cool figure. And when I was playing with him, I'm like, this is a really good this is a really good figure. Number 8, of course, there has to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figure on here. I didn't think it would be this figure, though. We had some amazing Archie figures this year. I did prioritize those videos, even though I got some of those figures after other videos I'd already filmed and still need to edit. I did just get Archie Turtle April. So I do want to do a video of her. So I haven't opened her yet, and I'm getting antsy. I was like, I want to open this figure, but I do want to do a video of her because I make such a big deal about how Archie has my heart. I want to do videos for all of the Archie figures. So even though I didn't do any prior to, what was my first Archie video? Shredder and Krang. So even though I didn't do any Archie videos prior to Shredder and Krang, I wanted to do post ones. So, and Belly Bomb made my top 10 last year. So I had some good ones to choose from this year, and especially when I got Wingnut and Screwloose, I'm like, they're going to be in my top 10. They're absolutely going to be in my top 10. Even Screwloose with the broken wing. Go watch that video when this is done, if you haven't seen it already. But this figure is just too good that not even Wingnut's goodness, even if Screwloose had not had a broken wing, there's no way that it would have beaten out this figure. And there's a slight cheat I am using a different cape than the one that came with him. But it is the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon Ultimate Shredder. So this is the Super 7 Ultimates cape, just because the wire and the thicker fabric, because NECA did just give us the same old cape again, where like the bib flips up in front of his face. And I don't hate capes that just hang loose. But I have absolutely come around to loving wired capes. And then the fact that, it doesn't flip up in front of his face is also helpful. This shredder is a brand new sculpt from top to bottom. It doesn't share many parts with the Archie shredder, and the Archie shredder is really, really good. And the reason Archie shredder is not here instead, because I do kind of like that, like I don't want Shredder to be gigantic. I do kind of prefer him more on the svelte side, but the Archie sculpt is like just the perfect amount of bulk to where it's like this is like imposing in the best way without being ridiculously gigantic. I don't want a Japanese colored Hulk. So, but not only is this more slender in ways that I like, but still more muscular than the previous mold that they were using over and over and over again. And it wasn't a bad figure when we had it, but as soon as better versions came out, like Archie or this, it's a giant piece of crap now. And I've said before, in terms of nostalgia, my first exposure was the action figures, the Playmates figures. Then it was the cartoon. And the cartoon is like low on my preferred, things in turtle mythology. I mean, because the colored bandanas came from the Playmates figures. The iris colors that I prefer came from 2012, where Leo and Mikey have blue, Donnie has brown, and Raph has green. The skin colors that I prefer is from the Playmates. So I don't hold a lot of things about other than the theme song, which, let's be honest, is a banger. And other than that opening theme, just like the animation's spectacular as well. This is another review of the 87 Turtles cartoon. I don't hold a lot of things from that cartoon in my preferences for these characters. And the same is held true for Shredder as well. But I do like a Shredder with a purple cape and silver armor. So that mixed with how good this new body is, and then was it Luis wanted to see the Super 7 cape on it, and it hasn't come off since that short. So I did this for one of you guys to see what it looked like, and I left it on permanently. This is the cape for this Shredder now. So the cape is not NECA, but I'm still counting the figure because the figure's that good. But yeah, so it's just the combination of the great sculpt and my preferences of silver armor, purple cape, whereas the Archie, it's white. It's supposed to be silver, but it's like 90s comic colors, which were very limited, and so that was how that was how Archie Adventures portrayed silver, was white with blue shading. And then he's all blue and whatever, and blue's my favorite color, but yeah, I don't know, I keep rambling, but this I didn't think a shredder would make my top 10 ever, but this is a really good shredder. Running out of room on the tray next to me. Okay, where are we at? Number 7. Also falling from last year. Also a line from last year, also falling from last year. What was this? My number 2 or number 3 last year, the line. It is one of my top 2 lines that I collect. My 2 favorite lines that rotate depending on who has a new figure out is Mattel's Hammond Collection and Hasbro's G.I. Joe Classified Series. So it's gonna be rare that one of these doesn't make this list just because of how in love I am with there's only so much dancing around I can get without spoiling dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. So before I was a Ninja Turtle kid, I was the dinosaur kid. And then before that, I can't remember. So so I've been a dinosaur kid since I formed memories, at least ones that stuck. So it's going to be rare that unless they put out a bad figure, which there are bad figures in the line. I have them for completionist's sake, but like if you ask me to honestly, objectively criticize them, that one sucks and that one isn't great and that one could be better, but like, so unless they just put out good and under releases, there's gonna be a dinosaur on here. But it did fall. Last year was, I think it was number 3. So this year is number 7. But when this hit, it was not only very, very frustrating to get, because I missed the initial pre-order, and then once it was supposed to be in stock, it was sold out, and then no stores got any in, and then by the time I was able to track one down, I pretty much got the last one in the area as a pickup, and then like literally a week or 2 later, just they were everywhere. So it is one of those designs that is not scientifically accurate, but I prefer this over the scientific accuracy. That makes it sound like I'm like, denying the science. I'd rather take the lie than the truth. In terms of a cool looking action figure, I don't want the scientifically accurate design. I want this design. And that's why it's in my top 10, because of how good this design is. And I'd had a couple figures of this dinosaur from Mattel, and they were all very, as the kids today say, mid. So I was excited to have a more articulated version of this creature on my shelves, but I wasn't thinking that it was going to blow me away as much as it did. And it blew me away. It just, this, like the second I started handling this, I'm like, this is in my top 10. I didn't think it would be this low, but there were just better for me. The whole point of this is not the best toys objectively. These are my favorites. I watched Robo's yesterday, and he started the video and he's like, this list is not going to be like anything like your list. And I commented, I'm like, it doesn't have to be. It's, you're not rating these as a reviewer. These are your favorite toys of the year. And so, maybe I should change the title from top 10 toys to, my 10 favorite toys, but just I'm running out of things to say and keeping you in suspense, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to keep you in suspense, but so I've heard a lot of people say that it's Mattel's Jurassic World Hammond collection, but then if it's a dinosaur that wasn't in any of the Jurassic World movies, but in one of the Jurassic Park movies, the wording on the boxes changes. So there are Mattel The Lost World Jurassic Park Hammond collection dinosaurs and humans. So the movie determines part of the title. So it's all the Hammond collection, but yeah, the movie determines the title. So this is the Mattel Jurassic Park 3 Hammond collection Spinosaurus. Again, this is basically just a T-Rex with a longer snout and a sail on his back. But when we found out what Spinosauruses were supposed to look like, I was like, well, that's ugly and I don't like it. If they ever make one, I will likely get it. I mean, I have dinosaurs from Hammond that I've never heard of, and my initial goal when this line started was just dinosaurs that I knew growing up. So growing up. So I wasn't even, he's not even on camera. So I wasn't even necessarily going to be like, well, I'm going to get that because it was in one of the movies. If I didn't know what it was growing up, I was not going to get it. But then just they all started turning out so good that I'm like, okay, I'm going to just get all of them. So while this is one that I knew growing up, why do I keep saying new growing up? It's the new and the growing. The no and the no and the grow, the new and the grew. Grew's not a word. So yeah, so this was one I was going to get regardless. And if they make one from the new one, the technically the only good Jurassic World movie of the 4. And even that's not saying much. It still wasn't a great movie, but it was better than the Pratt trilogy. And I like Chris Pratt, but yeah, those the Scarlett Johansson one. So Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, Dominion, Rebirth. So yeah, so that had scientifically accurate Spinosaurus in it. It's more like a crocodile with a sail. So if they make one from Rebirth, I'll get it. If it's Hammond, I'm not gonna, Mattel has made toys of it, and I don't like them, and I'm not gonna waste my money. But if they make a Hammond, I'll get it. But this isn't gonna leave the shelf, and I'm still gonna call this a Spinosaurus, even if it is just a T-Rex with a crocodile head and a sail. Or alligator? Crocodile. Alligator is shorter, thicker. Crocodile is longer, slimmer. But alligators are crocodilians. I found that out when I did was it the Motu Leatherhead, I think? Anyway, number 7, Spinosaurus. Also, this was on that toy guy's list. He usually does Transformers, and most of his top toys were Transformers, but he's like, but this, and I was like, oh, that's on my list. Sorry. This video is not going to get as many rewatches. Number 6. Again, falling from last year. This was easy. This was very, very easy to do because last year was kind of hard. Last year, for the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified series, it was very tough picking one figure from the line. Go back and watch that video once this is done. You'll see me be like, I wish I could just put the entire line in this spot. This was not that difficult. This was not, oh, I want to put every 2025 G.I. Joe in here. Nope. There was no question. There were some phenomenal G.I. Joes in 2025. We got Crystal Ball, one of the 3 G.I. Joes I had as a kid. I had the blue skin, red-haired Blanca that had come with a big vehicle, but I never had the vehicle because as kids we just traded figures, so that's how I ended up with just Blanca himself. A Flak Viper, really hoping they make that in Classified. I really hope that Jada does the blue skin, red hair repaint for their Blanca. That's definitely a wish of mine. Or Storm. If Storm makes one, if Storm does the repaint of their big Blanca, I want that. And Crystal Ball. And I swear I still have all 3 of them, and I can't find them, which sucks because I really wanted to do a video of Crystal Ball with my vintage childhood toy. This is not Crystal Ball. Slice was spectacular. Dice was one of the worst figures of the entire line. Dice is the purple one, Slice is the red one. This is not a review, but Dice is terrible. Slice is probably one of the best figures of the line, if not of the year. Budo was great. The Armored Cobra Commander was great. Love the Cop and Firefighter. I have 2 cops. I only have 1 firefighter. I want more of all of them. Mercer and the Sergeant Slaughter 2-pack was great. I got my favorite Dreadnought of the year, Monkey Wrench. And the figure doesn't disappoint at all. This is none of them. If you know my favorite animals, you already know what this is. So it's an animal, and I'm not including the figure that came with it. So last year I did Naugahyde with Pork Belly and Yabo. So I did human with Warthog and Monkey. I'm not including the figure. This is still a figure. I'm not including the human figure from this set. This is just the animal. It is my favorite animal, so I was already excited about that. It's extremely articulated, so I was even more excited about that. And then just the execution, I don't see how it could be better. I might prefer some of my joints to be a little tighter. I absolutely want a second one of these, but it was really expensive in the first place. And then I'm going to end up with an extra of the human that I didn't already want in the first place. But it is the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Mastivice Polar Bear. Screw that Snake Eyes figure. I hate it. I'm not going to get rid of it, but you know. Excuse me. I didn't want it in the first place. If it had come single packed, that would have been one I passed on. You know, I'm not a completionist with the line. I get most of them, but unless I needed it for a custom, which is why I'm hanging on to it. I don't have a custom in mind, but like I'm going to hang on to it in case I, you know, think of a custom I could use for the no head or hands, but like I'm keeping this in case I can think of a custom that I could use these parts for, whether it's just the boots or whether it's the whole blue suit. I definitely don't need a second one to get a second polar bear, but I want a second polar bear because, dude, just, oh my God, like, yeah. I honestly, like I said, I don't see how this could really be improved upon. It was my favorite animal. Polar bears, gorillas, raccoons. It used to be gorillas, but they got bumped down to number 2. So lost. But I don't want to say lost is the reason why a polar bear is my favorite animal, but it helped. So yeah, just it's one of those where I still can't believe that I have this. Like, that's how good it is. And I mean, if you don't want them on all fours, maybe there could be a better way to get like a more natural pose without like these gaps in the front of it standing. But I mean, you can have it standing on its hind legs. So like, and this is just where I would prefer a little tighter joints, because this is a more precarious pose to put it in. But the fact that it can do this, like I said, it's, I guess, give a fuller chest and, better put the arms down at the sides. But like, then you're looking at a polar bear that potentially can't, that can't go on all fours. So the fact that this can do both, get you a polar bear that can do both. Just, ooh, so good. Number 6. Running out of room. Number 5. This was one of those purchases where I'm getting it for the collection. I'm just not necessarily excited about getting it, if that makes any sense. There were definitely other figures for this collection, whether same line or not, and characters in the same line that I was more excited for. So the fact that this beat them out is still surprising me, but that's how good this figure is. I did do a video of this. It's not the Medicom Mafex Return of Superman Superboy. I thought it would. I wanted to do a video of it. The figure sitting over there opened, and I filmed an intro with the box, but like I don't know if I'm even gonna finish doing a video of it. I haven't even played around with him, so I don't even know how good that figure is. In terms of import figures, not Medicom Mafex, but I have the SH Figure Arts Todoroki from My Hero Academia sitting there, still sealed in the box. I wanted to do a video of that because I did Midoriya, and then I missed Bakugo. But Todoroki is my favorite character, but I haven't even opened that box, so I don't even know how good that figure is. But if you go back and watch this video, you can tell this figure is going to make his top 10. I think I kind of even say it too. I'm like, this might be in the top 20 if it doesn't get narrowed down further. But yeah, like, and in the video, I did 2 figures, and I got the 2 figures together. And of those 2 figures, this was the one that I was less excited about. I'm like, I'm excited for this figure, and I'm going to be content that this other figure is in my display. And then the content figure ended up blowing the other one out of the water. I was more excited for the Medicom Mafex Batman Hush Riddler, but was very, very pleasantly surprised by Scarecrow. Wow, like, I don't need another Scarecrow figure ever again for the rest of my life. Like, just in terms of Batman Scarecrows, like, if someone did a cool line of, Oz figures, I might get one of their Scarecrows. But like, in terms of Batman Scarecrows, the only way that you could improve upon this, if you've ever noticed my tattoos of Star Sapphire and Blue Lantern, if Medicom Mafex did a Yellow Lantern Scarecrow, That's probably the only way that this could be improved upon. Just because I love the lantern mythology in general. But yeah, like this figure is so good. Like go again. You know, I'm giving everyone homework after this stream is over. Checking to see if you can see my lantern tattoos in the screen. Like this, and Riddler kind of underwhelmed me, and that's not why Scarecrow beat him out. Because Scarecrow beat out the polar bear and the Spinosaurus and Shredder and Blanca and the Torpiculi and Mouse King. Like, you know, so it's not even about beating out figures from the same wave or the same line or the same company. Like, just, this is such a good Scarecrow. If you're a Batman fan and you like the villain of Scarecrow, just even if you don't collect the comic versions, you know, if you prefer Cillian Murphy, this is a better figure. So, Mafex, Hush, Scarecrow. I'm not going to have any voice by the time Threeps, Cat, and I go see the Stranger Things finale in theaters tonight. I'm going to be like... Number 4. Ooh, boy. I did do a video of this. And it was another video where I did multiple figures in the video. And you go back and watch that video and you can tell how much I was blown away and how much in love I am with this figure. And, you know, again, it took me by surprise. Wasn't expecting it. So I backed Harbinger Studios Savage Crucible on Kickstarter. I got one figure from each wave. I got a lizard guy from wave 1. I got Jaeger the werewolf from wave 2, and I got the Harbinger of the Abyss, the purple Cthulhu from wave 3. And I got the cool like dwarf decoder coin spinny thing. Actually, I don't think it's because they have the dwarf coins, and the decoder spinny thing I think is the Cthulhu, whatever. And then just the figures are good enough that when they've been available, I've been trying to get other figures here and there. I did a video of 3 or 4 lizard guys. But this kind of tempted me when I backed the Kickstarter, just because I do have nostalgia of the painting it's based on, but not like deep nostalgia. You know, more of a, oh, I recognize that, you know. And so when it became available to get outside of the Kickstarter, I was like, yeah, let me give it a chance. You know, it's you know, it was at a time, thankfully, it was the year before that I had the money, was able to pre-order it, and then just had to wait, you know, 6 to 8 months for it to come out. So this did come out in 2025, but I paid for it in 2024 when I was still secure. So it was definitely a matter of, this would not have been purchased this year when I was having financial issues, because I had to be more choosy of what I got. Whereas when I paid for this, it was more of a, I've got the extra money, let me see what this is like. And I'm glad I did, because it's my 4th favorite figure of last year. It's so good if you haven't already figured it out from Savage Crucible and painting, but it is the Frank Frazetta's Warrior with Ball and Chain. And just, I'm still blown away by how good this figure is. And honestly, it was number 3 up until like a few weeks ago. So, I thought it was going to stay at number 3. I didn't think it was going to get bump down. So not to pull any of the focus away from this to the number 3 that ended up being, but like, yeah, this was number 3 since I got it, and it was only unseated by something a little bit better. It for me, again, this is not objective reviews. This is my favorites. But it's still number 4 out of 10 out of, while I said I only bought about half of the amount of toys that I normally would buy with a stable income, I still, other than bills, that's pretty much, bills and food, which I kind of consider food to be bills because it's still a necessity. That's typically what I spend my money on. I do the responsible payments, and then whatever I have left, I just try and enjoy what little life I can in terms of movies and toys. And so, out of all the toys that I did get in 2025, this was my 4th favorite. And again, it was my 3rd favorite up until recently. It's really, really good. And it kind of made me want more humans from Savage Crucible, from Harbinger Studios. And unfortunately, most of them are sold out now. So I did get a pre-order in for Elric of Melnibone and the Frazetta Death Dealer I needed. I would still like the loose collector one with the horse. That thing is insanely expensive. Jesus, like, when a 6-inch figure and horse costs more than Hot Toys, which I should brag about how I lucked out on Wednesday. I had so many reward points. I got her for over half off. She cost me a little over $100, and her MSRP is over 300. So I had that many points racked up. So I was like, at first I was like, I wasn't going to do it. I was like, I can't afford her. Even with a payment plan, I can't afford her. And then I'm like, wait a minute. With a payment plan, I would have like 3 payments of like $40 with a $40 down payment or whatever. So it's that's the only reason I got her is because I got like almost, if not $200 off of her just from points, from rewards points. But this is not a review of Wednesday. But he beat out Wednesday. So great figure. I haven't pre-ordered him yet. But I'm very, very excited for the Frazetta Girls Necron from Fire and Ice, because I love Dark Wolf and Tigra, and let's get the villain, please. So, number 3. So last year, my number 1 figure of the year was the Fresh Monkey Fiction Big Bad Workshop Operation Monster Force Delta Red Nocturnal Operations Trooper, the vampire soldier. That was my number 1 figure of last year. So when the new Operation Monster Force stuff was coming out this year, I'm like, because I said it last year, like it may be my 3rd favorite thing, like behind G.I. Joe and Hammond Collection, behind Classified and Hammond Collection, Operation Monster Force may be my 3rd favorite line. And I mean, nothing's really changed, but I didn't think any of the figures would make the top 10. That's why this is a last minute edition, because I just got my pile of loot in December, and it had all of the new OMF figures in it, and I was like, so I'm definitely the type of person who not only doesn't mind reuse, but as long as it's appropriate, I prefer it, because then that allows for more budget to make newer parts. So it's like, if you can reuse the torso and the legs, do it. If you can give me this great, head and weapons. Like the most like, I don't want to badmouth anyone. But like a lot of action figure collectors don't like reuse. Oh, it's stupid that they reuse that same body for this character. It's like, I don't see an issue because it's not the wrong body for them. And I understand the toy production process that, the only way that they could even make that character in the first place is with the reuse. And I absolutely have issues when they use the wrong parts. Like that should have been new pieces. But I don't have an issue with reuse as most collectors do. And a lot of Operation Monster Force is the same parts, just with different colors and a slightly different arrangement of accessories. And that's not a bad thing. And that doesn't keep it from being my third favorite line. But it was kind of because of that I didn't want to repeat myself by going, hey, remember my number one figure last year was this vampire trooper? Well, here's the same figure with just a different head and different colors. Like I felt like that was a cop-out, and not just a cop-out, but even like just in terms of, is going back to the Guile joke, it's like, is this going to be another one of my favorite figures just because it's the same figure as last time with different colors? So I was committed to my top 10 before I even got the new Operation Monster Force figures. So the fact that this figure last minute moved the warrior with ball and chain down. So the original number 10 figure was the Mezco 112 Collective Ghostface Lives from Scream. I just completely had a brain fart. I can't remember where I was going with that. Yeah, so Mezco Ghostface was my number 10, and it got bumped out of the running because this moved through and down. So like more so than the Mouse King, just this absolutely took me by surprise, which is kind of funny because I did watch I watched Robo's review, and when he revealed something about this figure, I was a little bummed because I was kind of expecting it to be bigger. And there was nothing in the promotional materials. There was nothing in the renders. There was nothing in the pre-orders. There was nothing in the prototypes that would have indicated that this would be a bigger figure. But when he was like, oh yeah, it's just this other figure with a different head and accessories, I didn't think about canceling it. And I was still excited for it, but I was like, oh, well, that's kind of a bummer. It kind of takes the wind out of my sails a little bit. And then I found out in their mythology, which I've kind of rewritten a lot of the OMF canon just for my own personal desires. But this was one that I kind of embraced and ran with in terms of incorporating other figures from other lines into the display. Because they said that, like, the reason that this isn't a bigger figure is just mythology-wise, it's not meant to be, because they have their Dracula and they have their mummy with the Forgotten King, and their werewolves, they have their own figures with their own werewolf sculpt heads, but then they started to incorporate the Maestro Union Fury Planet werewolf mold into it, which I love because that's my favorite werewolf figure of all time. Figures, the three of them. So like they made clear that this wasn't their version of this iconic character, but kind of one of a species. And that made me go, ooh, I like that. Because now I can take other versions of this character from other lines and bring them all together, and I don't have to worry about, well, there's 5 of them, because they're not all supposed to be the same character. They're all versions of the same monster. They're all the same monster species. So it's like I can have a bunch of different vampires. I have a bunch of different werewolves. I have other mummies in the display with the Forgotten King, as he's the mummy, but then there's other mummies that are around him. And that kind of made me more excited. So I got this figure open and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm excited for this, even though, it wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be, but I'm still super excited because it looks great and whatever. And I was not prepared for this to, I hate repeating myself. It's like how this blew me away. Like I'm playing with this figure and I'm like, this has to be in the top 10. This has to be in the top 3, because just that's how absolutely good it is. And it is the Fresh Monkey Fiction Big Bad Workshop Operation Monster Force, The Donner Party. When they said that this wasn't supposed to be Operation Monster Force's Frankenstein's monster, but just a reanimated corpse made up of different body parts. So I'm like, okay, well, then I'm putting the NECA one in there, and then I'm putting the Figure Obscura one in there, and then I want to get the Jada one. I haven't yet, but like, so I'm like, well, now I have these armies, this army of Frankensteins, which, Frankenstein's the monster, Frankenstein's the scientist, not the monster. So it's, or is the scientist the true monster? Anyway, this figure's so good. Like, you can't tell that it's the same torso and upper arms and, the above the glove of Declan Van Helsing. You can't touch the same upper legs as Declan Van Helsing. He's got completely different lower legs, different boots. He's got these like fur boot toppers that are brand new just to him. We've got this awesome like wired shawl cape thing that's all tattered and bloody, and just that head sculpt is amazing. I'm kind of going to do a mini review because and by sticking the shotgun under the strap for the machete, except for his alternate hands, these are all of his weapons. These are all of his accessories. So except for his alternate hands, this is everything on him. That's always a cool thing. That's always something that makes me appreciate a figure better. I love when classified figures do that, and you can just put all their gear on them and they don't look overloaded. And just this thing is spectacular. Like, I love the yellowed American flag wrapped around his bicep, which it came on his other one, but it comes off. So I moved to the other side, because one thing I really like about this line is the customizability, which I don't even know if I want to say customizing, because it's, moving a piece from one arm to the other is not customizing, but just the way that you can make these figures your own by which accessories you choose to give them and how you choose to give them. That's one thing that makes me love the line that much, but just the execution of this character and all of the parts, just it's so good. And something that was really cool is in their mythology, which I'm going to keep. I'm keeping most of it for my own, but I am kind of like tweaking things. It's like, I don't necessarily know if I like that, so I'm just going to do it this way, my way. one thing I'm keeping is his backstory is he's called the Donner Party because he's cobbled together of the ones who didn't make it. So the Donner Party gets snowed in. They have to eat each other to survive. The survivors make it to civilization. The story gets out, and his creator, this mysterious unnamed scientist, and that's not my thing, that's theirs, you know. They haven't revealed who his creator is, but so after the survivors made it to back to society, back to civilization is the word I was trying to look for. His creator went to the crime scene essentially and dug up the frozen bodies and chose what parts. And so he's called the Donner Party. He is made up of parts of those who didn't make it. But he has been silently following the descendants in the shadows as a protector to making sure no harm comes to the descendants of the survivors of the Donner Party. So it's not like a revenge thing, you know, it's they ate me, so I'm going to seek revenge. No, it's, you know, they had to eat the parts of me that aren't on me. So I'm going to make sure to keep them safe for generations to come. So it's just, yeah, it's a cool mythology. This figure is amazing. Like I said, number 3, and it was a last minute number 3. Number 2. Probably the worst video I've made, just because I was trying something new and I had technological difficulties that just frustrated me to no end. And while I really enjoyed the figure, I mean, it's number 2. While I really enjoyed the figure, the review is full of frustration and just very poor camera quality, very poor sound quality. I'm embarrassed. I'm leaving it up just as, you know, it happened. I'm not trying to deny that it happened. But it is absolutely my worst video that I've done so far. I never want to repeat the quality of that video ever again, but the subject, it's my second favorite toy of the year. And it was so good that I actually bought 2 of them. Now, you're going to see another figure as part of this, and that's not included. I'm not cheating. I just didn't want to ruin my display by taking it off. So the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse. Don't worry, this is not a McFarlane. This is the not counting. The McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Aquaman. What's the second one? Lost Empire, Lost Kingdom, whatever. It's the seahorse. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. It's good. I would not have bought it had I not been able to get it for, what do we pay, Threeps? Like $8 on clearance from McFarlane's website. I wouldn't have gotten it if it hadn't cost me $8. I would not have paid full price for this thing. But I specifically got it for my number 2 figure, and I don't want to take it off the seahorse. So you're going to see the seahorse in the video. The seahorse doesn't count. It is not part of number 2. I'm not cheating. I wouldn't put this in my top 100. And again, it's not bad. It's just there's, 100 plus better figures than this, than the seahorse. But the number 2 figure on the seahorse is the Rage Toys Samurai Force Summer. Third party Michelangelo. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if that's too tall. And I bought 2 because they also had a rave Toys custom kit for you to make a more classic, non-medieval Michelangelo. And I'm not cheating because this is the same figure twice. So I'm not trying to sneak two figures in. Okay, he does fit. I'm not trying to sneak two figures in. This is one figure. This is just the two different looks that you can give him. This thing is so good. Like, was it Spring, Leonardo, and then Autumn was Donatello, and Master was Splinter. If I had done a review for the Mouse King, Master would have made an appearance just in comparisons, because I guarantee you, if I'd done a review of this, there would have been a comparison segment of the video of just Splinters and this guy. And they're all great. Splinter's probably the best of the three of Splinter, Donnie, and Leo. And then Summer comes out. Summer is Michelangelo. Now, for most of my life, I thought Leonardo was my favorite because blue's my favorite color, and I love most of the Leonardo voice actors. Cam Clark from the original cartoon, Brian Tochi from the original Henson movies. I loved Johnny Knoxville doing his voice, even though then his mocap actor, Pete Plazek, took over voice acting for the sequel. I liked his voice. It's Michael Sinterniklaas. Dean Venture from the Venture Brothers does him in 2003. So for the longest time, I'm like, Leo's my favorite. And then my mom, for my birthday one year, gave me this like pillow pal turtle, and it's Leo. And she goes, I'm sorry, this was the only one they had. You know, I know it's not your favorite Michelangelo. And I'm like, what? And then I thought back to a picture that I've had since I got it digitally. I can't remember if we scanned it in or not, but it's a picture of me as a child in a Halloween costume of Michelangelo. And the fact that my own mother thought that Michelangelo was my favorite, I'm thinking Michelangelo was my favorite as a child and should have always been my favorite all this time. So I'm very torn whether or not Mikey or Leo are my favorite, but in terms of the figures, it was because it wasn't Rage toys for Leo or Donnie and Splinter, but like they keep having to change their name to avoid copyright strike because it is IP infringement. Please don't go after them. We need Winter. Winter's Wrath. Was it Gullenbursty is the Bebop. But Leo and Donnie had single jointed elbows and knees. Mikey has double jointed elbows and knees. Now they did say they're going to go back and redo the other two, which I don't know if I want to buy them again, you know. But then I don't know if I want to suffer with the under-articulated, I don't want to say versions, but like copies. But we haven't gotten Raph yet. So that is far, far in the future if they redo the previous two turtles on this new body. But that is not going to change the fact that this is still my favorite of that line so far, because just everything they did for him, whether the samurai version with that awesome mask and the wrist-mounted crossbows or the grappling hook backpack with the gears, or the top knot. I've never been a fan of turtles with hair, and it's not the first Michelangelo we've gotten recently. Like the Mattel Master of the Universe Turtles of Grayskull Mikey had a He-Man wig, which I keep on him, but I still don't like it. And when they showed this, where it was like, okay, you can have the top knot of the hair, or you can put the bandana tails. And, I was initially like, well, I'm not going to do the hair. That's stupid. I don't want turtles with hair. But like, the whole reason I got a second one, because I'm like, I kind of like that top knot, and I kind of like that mask, and I kind of like, so like, I liked the medieval look so much. I'm like, I kind of want to. So this is on the shelf with the other two turtles and Splinter, but this is just off on another shelf, just kind of in its own display. It's next to the Operation Monster Force, but it's not part of it. I initially had it on the McFarlane Batman Forever Nightmare Bat, but it wasn't because I just stuck him on the bat's back. But then when Threeps and I were able to get the Seahorse on, again, it was $8, Threeps, and it has a saddle and reins. I'm like, well, there's Summer's steed. The only bummer is the fact that this falls out very easily, and then you saw it was kind of wilty. But it plugs into his harness, and I like how it, this. So number 2, Samurai Force Summer, third party Michelangelo. Oops, sorry for hitting the camera. Oh no, he fell off. He fell off. Of course, the grappling hook fell off, and then one of his sides fell off. I think he only comes with one, but because I got 2, I was able to. Same thing with the. I think he comes with one retracted and then one out, and you can put them on the rope, you can put them on the backpack, but again, because I got 2 of them, I'm like, ooh, I can have them be more symmetrical for my OCD. Fell off. Could just take him off anyways. I wouldn't have had to do all that lead up with I'm not counting the Seahorse. I'm not counting the Seahorse. Doesn't count. All right. We'll have to deal with that later. We're almost done. Don't want to keep you here any longer. Number 1. I didn't think any figure from this line would be this high up. One of these figures was in the top 10 last year, but this is just so good. Actually, I kind of said that even though Ghostface was supposed to be number 10 and got bumped out of it by the Donner Party, I have kind of been saying that my actual number 11 is kind of the runner-up of this line. Just the execution of both figures was so good. One of them had to be in the top 10, and because I don't like repeating myself, it had to be one. It couldn't be both. I couldn't have put one at number 10 and one at number 1. I don't, I collect too much to have multiple Transformers in my top 10. But I have been joking that number 11 was Studio Series 86 Megatron, just because he's so good. Like, he looks like Gun Megatron in robot mode. and there is no vehicle kibble. There's no alt mode kibble on him in robot mode. You can see the tank treads on the backs of his like calves, but they're so compacted in that I wouldn't even say that it's kibble. Like it's just part of his robot mode. And then he turns into a tank, and it's not another H tank. Ironically, like it looks like a legit like tank when you think of a tank. You know, it's like Hasbro's never going to make gun mode Megatron. It's never going to happen ever again. You have to go third party for that if you really care, but I don't like mass shifting. So if it can't be cheated into like, you know, this is just a big cannon that, you know, like I don't like the idea of giant robot shrinks down into a little gun that his other people can use. So I like the nostalgia of him turning into a gun, but I've always been team tank Megatron. And the Studio Series 86 figure is spectacular. It's phenomenal. It's just, it's so good. But it didn't make this top 10. The Transformer that made number 1, is not my first figure of this character. I did previously have actually I had 2 third-party versions. One was not the character that I kind of repurposed into the character. Just, you know, like I didn't do any painting or customizing to it. I just said that, you know, this third-party figure is that character. And then I sold that when an actual third-party figure of this character came out. And then when this got announced, I sold that, which actually funded a couple of the figures that I reviewed earlier last year, either uploaded or still needing to be edited. But thank you again for buying that that selling, so I could get those other figures, and then also replace it in my collection with, and this is not the first official figure from Hasbro of this character, but the first official one was of this iteration, because there were plenty of Bayverse toys of this character, but of this iteration, they only made one prior figure, and it was one of the Titanium series, and it was small, and because they were all die cast, you couldn't pose them. They wouldn't stay standing. Some of them wouldn't even stay in robot mode because the die cast was so heavy they would just like crumple. So I never got that, just because it was too small, and because I did have other Titanium figures, I knew how bad the line was, and I'm like, I'm not wasting my time or money with that. So I was very excited when they were announcing that, hey, this is the first official non-diecast version of the non Michael Bay movie version of this character, and it looked good. It does transform into an H tank, unfortunately. But man, when I got it in hand, I'm like, this is probably one of the greatest Transformers that I've ever owned. And that includes third-party stuff. That includes Earthrise Optimus Prime, which I consider to be, for me, the best Optimus Prime that they've made so far. And I feel like this kind of beats that out. It is the Hasbro Transformers Age of the Primes Megatronus Prime, aka the Fallen. The way that they were able to incorporate the flames, because when this character was created for the comics, just he was literally described as like a furnace. Like, and so he emits fire. Like, you see like these little yellow slats and everything. Like, those are supposed to be holes where fire comes out of. So the fact that they were able to give us these flame effects that can plug on in any 5mm port. Is that a 5mm port? That is not a 5mm port. So like you can mix and match. You can, I mean, these two even have, there's a 5mm port on the back, so you can like double them up. Like, it just, so they not only just completely nailed, and I don't even want to say how he should look, but because like I don't even think this is the original comic design, but it's close enough to where you're like, not only is it good enough, it's actually kind of better than the original design. And just, my God, this thing is just so good. Just robot mode is, it's so articulated and imposing, and just, it has this presence, and the transformation scheme is, it's kind of complicated. Like, I keep having to use the instructions, whereas, and this is not a brag, but when 86 Megatron hit, people were like, the transformation's too complicated. I don't want to do it more than once. You know, it's like he came in robot mode, I put him in tank mode, and then I put him back, and I'm never going to transform him back into tank mode because it was too complicated. It was too frustrating. And when I heard that, I was worried, because anytime anyone's like, oh, well, that transformation was so intuitive, I never needed the instructions once. I'm not like that. Like I said, every time I've transformed him, I've needed the instructions. There are figures that I've transformed 20, 30 times and I've owned for 10, 15 years, and I still need the instructions. I can transform Studio Series 86 Megatron by heart. So I don't know if just something about that transformation stuck with me, because I don't think that I'm better than the people who said it was too complicated, they never want to do it again. But this is not a review of 86 Megatron, but just trying to compare that, like, as complicated as everyone said 86 Megatron was, and I can do it by heart, and it didn't take me many times. Like, I think I used the instructions twice, and I've transformed them back and forth a bunch of times, because it's honestly, it's fun for me, and I can do it without looking at instructions. But this isn't frustrating, and I don't even know if I would say it's more complicated than Megatron, but like, it's complicated enough where I still don't have it down by heart. But it's still a really cool process, because, you know, there's only so many ways that you can have a robot turn into a car. There's only so many ways the robot mode can look. There's only so many ways the transformation scheme can go from robot to car back. So when they can come up with new and interesting ways of moving stuff around without having to unplug anything, that's called parts forming, if you're not a Transformers fan. Some people aren't bothered by parts forming. Some people are very bothered by parts forming. I don't like it. So I definitely prefer that, at least in the you know, weapons is fine. I don't consider that parts forming, even if the weapon does become part of the alt mode, like the tank cannon. I believe you can leave it on his arm for transformation. But like, you know, if it's a windshield or roof, I don't like having to take those off to transform and then put them back on. So like, when they can do interesting things for transformation schemes without parts forming, it's definitely appreciated. And I just popped that off. It's a 5mm port. It's okay. Again, if you're not a transformer person, the size of the peg is 5mm and the size of the hole is 5mm. And so, I can use a different peg or I can use a different peg, or I can use a, nope, I don't know if that's going to fit. I can use a different hole. That's what she said. But like, yeah, it's just, he's got a neat transformation. It's not a typical tank transformation to where I'm bored or I think it's not creative. And I haven't really heard of anyone else complaining either. Like, I've heard of better Transformer reviewers than me, praise the creativity of his transformation into tank mode. As much as I criticize an H tank, it's just the fact that the treads and then the part in the middle, like it makes an H. To me, I don't know if that's a real like tank on Earth, and they're alien robots, but it's never seemed all that realistic to me. So I like that 86 Megatron turns into a tank where it's just the solid piece with the turret on top, but like, despite being an H tank, it's an awesome H tank. And you can even put the flames on different parts in the different 5mm ports in tank modes. You can have different parts of the tank on fire. Heck, you can have fire come out of his cannons. It's just, yeah, this absolutely is my favorite figure of 2025. Age of the Primes, The Fallen, and his real name is Megatronus Prime, and that is where Megatron supposedly got his name from. So, great freaking figure. I want to thank you very much. Let me see if I can bring some of these guys back out. Mikey leans back on his skateboard, so I got to lean him on someone. So I want to thank everybody for watching, whether you watched live or watching the recording uploaded after the fact. If you are new to my channel, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it and stick around for future stuff. If you have been with me a while, it means the world to me that you have been. So thank you for sticking around. I very much appreciate each and every last one of you. Those are never hollow words. If you would like to help support me for free, you can do that by liking the video, putting a comment on it, sharing it with your friends you think would like my type of humor and content. I'm going to really try to do more non-toy stuff in 2026, just because I don't want this to just be a toy channel. I want it to be all nerd inclusive, and I just realized you can't see most of those. I put everyone back out, but so I want to try and do more like pop culture stuff that I'm into. Like, I really like horror movies. I want to do some videos on horror movies. I want to do some like social commentary social comedy-tary. Poking fun at things people do or say, or I want to incorporate my animation. I want to incorporate my artwork in it. And again, it's become an excuse by now, the fact that I haven't done anything with it yet. But one person doing animation is super difficult. So that's the only reason I haven't done it yet, is that it's daunting and I'm scared. But I'm going to try and do it. This month, Kat and I will be bringing back trivia. Because her birthday is in a few weeks, I'm writing and asking the questions. And because she may be watching this, and I want that to be a surprise, I can't tell you what trivia it is going to be. But she should be good at it. So, like, it shouldn't just be me sitting there stumping her. It's not going to be live. I want to try something different. I want to try like multiple cameras, and I want to edit it. So it won't be live trivia. But then that also means I can keep it a secret from her because I don't have to put up a placeholder with the thumbnail. But if you are interested in nerd trivia, please keep an eye out on the channel for that. Just because we have weird schedules and she has an entire family, husband and kids, 4 children. It's hard to, and she lives in about an hour away, so it's hard to get her over here to film. But at the very least, we should be filming it around her birthday. She's gonna hate me. Is it the 16th? I hope it's the 16th. I love you, Kat. I'm sorry. So like it won't be uploaded on the 16th. If we can film it close to her birthday, then I'll need to edit it, and I'll prioritize it. And then another movie related video. I'm doing a ranking of the Scream franchise, which I need to get out on my channel by the time Scream 7 hits theaters. And what's super exciting is I'm actually going to be collabing with another channel for that. So keep an eye out in February for that. It will be myself and Blake Moneyweather from the channel Nerds at Night, comparing our rankings, and why I like this movie better than he does, and why he likes that soundtrack better than I do. So keep an eye out for that. If you would like to support me for more than free, patreon.com/TENIME. Link should already be in the description. Link's already in the description. All right. $5 a month gives you unlimited behind-the-scenes access to all artworks, works in progress. I'm sorry, Josh. I know I haven't posted any artwork since June of last year. I owe him a lot of artwork. So thank you, Josh. Thank you very, very much for your support. It means everything that you've held on despite my lack of output. So Happy New Year. Hope everyone has a good 2026. If had a good 2025, trying to find like a non-salty way to, I'm happy for you that you had a good 2025. If you had a bad 2025, it's over. We can't go back in time. Let's try and move forward as best we can. So please take care of yourself. It's a scary, scary world out there. Keep yourself safe. Please practice self-love. If you need help, try and reach out to someone you care about. So thank you again for watching, and TTFN, ta-ta for now, and the awkward part of me trying to get around here to sign off. Okay, bye.